This is definitely something to be enjoyed from the comfort of your own lounge. Take a cold day, take over 100 motorcyclists and take them to a course that you would assume has been put together by someone with a sadistic sense of humour. Then you have the conditions for the Shell 100 Enduro. One lap is a tough 54 kilometres and there were 3 of those laps. It's not your normal Saturday afternoon drive, as Tony Palmer found out.
One of the best enduro fields ever assembled in New Zealand, signing on for the 1990 Shell Challenge 100. 5 top Australians, 17 North Islanders and 85 South Islanders have come to do battle over a massive 150-kilometre course reckoned to have everything a rider could want. It's this big hill right off the start line that sorts out the field and provides much of the pre-race speculation about this now classic event set in Canterbury's high country.
In Australia, nothing like this at all. We do have some hills over there, but usually tree-lined and a few rocks to get traction. Like as you can see here, totally different. Grass, you've got a lot more momentum.
You've been here before. Is that going to help you, or is it just 54 k's you can't remember?
It's a bit like that, actually, because the week before I came over last year, I had an accident at a cross-country round in Australia. Knocked myself out, and I was a bit vague over here. I do remember a lot, so yeah, a big advantage over last year.
Last year there was, a lot of places you get bogged and a lot of downhills that caused a lot of drama. I was one of them, endoed down a hill and broke my front brake and had a few problems. But, we don't really know what to expect because they've changed about 60% of it. So, it's kind of exciting that way. You've got no real idea what it's going to be like.
It's pretty dry, so the Aussies are going to go fast. If it was wetter, we'd be faster.
When you approach a race like this where you've got pit stops every lap and you've got 3 laps of 54 odd k's, do you look at it lap by lap? Do you approach the whole race? Do you pace yourself?
No, not really. Like, just say you can't afford to go too fast straight out, but you can't afford to get the lead, let the leaders get away. So just got to be careful. Last year, I was only about 5th on the first lap or something, but I wasn't, much behind in times. And then, the other guys sort of crashed out, really.
You got to see what sort of a start you get. If you get a good start, well, you hold your position as much as you can. Don't go silly, because you're setting the pace for everyone else. If you go and crash your brains out, well, you might as well kiss the race goodbye. Yet, if you have a bad start, well, you sort of got to pull your finger in a bit and try and work your way through.
In the true format of an Enduro classic, the start is Le Mans style, with a lineup of 107 riders ranging from the accomplished international champions to the enthusiastic amateur clubmen. The initial mad dash is to get that whole shot, the all-important prime position through the first corner. Even a little hollow in the flat start paddock presents problems, a sign of things to come. The famous big climb last year decimated the field, and all the pit talk today has been about how many will crest the brow and how many will spend the next half hour or so being frustrated by that last few metres, spinning tyres, kicking bikes and being demoralised so early in the race. You can almost hear the spectators laughing from here. Most of the top seeds make the grade and get to view the spectacular scenery of the Southern Alps briefly before a steep descent into the riverbed and many more climbs. The front bunch by now includes Kiwis John McKee and Jock McLaughlin and Aussie Jeff Ballard, along with virtually everyone else who conquered the initial climb. Parkia Tour's Jock McLaughlin is definitely a man to follow, if you can. His approach is always conservative and steady, according to him, but obviously not in the eyes of some of his competitors. John McKee from Hawke's Bay had an excellent start until a shingle slide caught him out and Big Jock's steady approach passed him by. This was the start of a long battle for the lead. McLaughlin is by nature a gentle giant, and he wasn't about to share John McKee's aggressive approach with 3 hours of tough terrain ahead of them, so long as he stayed in touch. Keeping the bike upright is the important thing, and McLaughlin also knew the cold would be a factor. No point in getting too wet with more high ridges and cruel wind chill to come. As if finding your way isn't hard enough on a lap of 50 kilometres, someone had closed a gate here, and once the first rider had taken a wrong turn, many simply followed. Until these two had the nous to open the gates and enjoy a brief sojourn in the lead. Moments later, the hotshots realised their error and the real leaders found their way back to the front. Midway through the first lap, John McKee on his XR600 had been joined by Cam Mabee as they began a series of river crossings which seemed to last forever. First of the Aussies was Jeff Ballard, 20 seconds back and starting to look like an outright contender on another of the big four-strokes. And then there was a large gap back to the first bunch of 8 riders seeming to stick together in an effort to drag in the breakaway individuals. We named this little slippery slope Heartbreaker Hill. Many of the competitors had less polite descriptions of it. For literally hours, a hardy bunch of amateurs tried in vain to push, pull, or somehow manhandle their bikes up its shingle goat track, while time ticked away, ruining their chances of staying in contention. The queue at the bottom lengthened as the day went on. And every now and then, a minor victory would offer enough encouragement for the rest to keep trying. Nobody seemed to mind that the race had ceased to be relevant for them. And nobody was looking too hard at the steep drop-off on the other side. Oblivious to all that, defending champion Jock McLaughlin was close to completing his first circuit, and even he would take 1 3/4 hours for the 50-odd kilometres. As McLaughlin arrived in pit lane with a 2-minute lead, his major concern was not the testing terrain, but the sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, my hands are frozen. I'm sure it's cold.
On your blouse. Throw you.
It's frost about 5 inches deep out there. Cold, eh?
You want a jacket or something?
No, my body's good. It's just my hands are frozen.
Hey, where's the problem, Jock?
With the arrowing. Arrowing's a real joke.
John McKee had tales to tell of an early crash.
Where's Jock?
It's just on the top, we're just going down
Up
the
the
big
top.
steep downhill.
Oh, yeah. Went over the handlebars.
Chuck it
Right,
right
just
in
as I
there.
was passing him.
Yep.
Shove this on me, please. Shove this on. Just as I was passing Jocko.
Done, go.
How far ahead are they?
5 minutes. 12 minutes.
Flax and I'll give you around again.
Paul Deneen was the first of the Australians to pit as Ballard stayed out, hoping he had enough gas to last 2 laps. McLaughlin by now seemed to be very much in control of the race, and while the lead he enjoyed was small by enduro measures, his concentration and poise were obvious in the smooth, flowing style and consistent pace. Meanwhile, back at that same slippery old hill, not much has changed, and their own little event continues into the afternoon. And there's no way they're going to give up the battle.
Well, we just couldn't get up the hill. But it's all clubmen, so we just stick together and help each other out. It's the only way we can get round. We're going to finish. We're clubmans, rare breed.
How frustrating it must have been for them to watch McLaughlin ride straight past as if it was a highway.
Boys, are ya?
And then again, as second and third places made it look like just another hill too. Australian Jeff Ballard's decision not to make a pit stop had paid off. His tank of gas was lasting well, and he was up to 4th place, catching the leaders and carefully picking his way through a patch of forest. John McKee was still attacking every inch of the course, clearly in 2nd place and approaching a paddock of waist-high tussock, which had claimed many riders in the first lap. By now there was a fairly clear trail through, but hidden amongst the grass were rocks, mud holes and broken bikes, all awaiting the unsuspecting competitors, especially those keen enough to try and make up ground bravely. Nearly 6.5 minutes ahead, McLaughlin was into the Selwyn riverbed section, extending his lead and picking the fastest possible lines by reading it well ahead of where he was riding. There were now several distinct races taking place back in the field. While some were still trying to pick away up Heartbreaker Hill, a series of seemingly innocuous bog holes had trapped rider after rider as they tired and lost concentration. Again, what was easy for some was a major obstacle for others. Jock McLaughlin, nearing the end of his 2nd lap, was just getting into the groove after 3 hours of riding and still extending his lead. What he didn't know was that the organisers, worried about people being left out in darkness, had decided to shorten the event. McLaughlin and others would be given the checkered flag, this time into pit lane. Jock was just a few hundred metres from victory. Shell Challenge 100 winner for the 2nd successive year, Pahia Tours Enduro Maestro.
Well done. Why is it short, James? Because we know it at the prize giving. If we keep it going,
Right.
too bloody late, yeah. Was it too tough this year, do you think?
Oh, I thought it was really good, excellent ride. It's just the first lap, a few of us got lost. But for me, the track's 1,000 times better than last year. I reckon it's a meat.
Yeah.
6 minutes and 20 seconds behind, Hawke's Bay's John McKee has battled back to consolidate second place after having led early on and then crashed just as Jock McLaughlin passed him. He doesn't know the race is finished yet either, and who knows what might have happened after another 50 Ks. Doubtless that'll be the subject of much discussion till next year's event. The first Australian home is Sydney-sider Jeff Ballard in third place. He's a very accomplished international, but he'll have to concede here that the Kiwis have outgunned the Aussies 2 years in a row. At least this year he didn't crash too heavily.
I didn't like that downhill.
Yeah.
No way.
Joe didn't like it, mate.
That happened on the way down on that ledge. I just couldn't stop, and I bloody hit a big rock, and I just knew it.
Hey, that's a good effort.
No, it was good. It was good. How did I go?
Third.
Third, yeah. I can't believe it.
Third, isn't it, son?
Right.
Better. 2 laps.
What did I get?
4. Well done.